your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We have the privilege, doing a radio show, of getting to meet some really accomplished people, some very delightful people, and sometimes you as listeners, the best you can do is listen in and feel like you're meeting those people by way of our conversation that we're having. And of course, phoning in, which is why I love local radio. But in this case, you're actually going to be able to meet our guest because she is going to do a couple of book signings in our community. One is this afternoon from 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock over at Barnes & Noble at the Market Street at Heathbrook. And then tomorrow she's going to be signing books also at the Barnes & Noble in the Villages, and that will be from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. Celeste Leon, good morning. I want to brag about you for a second, but the first thing I want to tell you is I love the way you write.
Thank you so much. And that was such a wonderful introduction, Larry. Thank you. I'm just delighted to be here.
Oh, good.
It's really a pleasure.
What I mean is I just like the way, and what you wrote is, we're going to talk about that too. I love that too. But I just like the way you write. So now it's kind of like when you find a recording artist, you say, oh, I want to hear more by that person. So even if the other albums may be different, this is probably something I'm probably going to become a fan of yours.
You.
So nice to meet you. And you live in California.
I do. I live near Lake Tahoe in Truckee.
Truckee. I know Truckee because of the Amtrak station.
Yes, right downtown.
Because I'm an Amtrak geek.
And we have Donner Lake, and it's famous for the Donner Party coming through, if you remember that. And that big winter, there's a statue in the town, and oh my goodness, that was one of the biggest winters on history. They must have gotten 40 plus feet of snow. So of course the Donner Party was stranded there for a whole winter.
Can you imagine that? Let me brag about you. You are an award-winning author. You're a contributor to Chicken Soup for the Soul. That right there is awesome. You're celebrating people who make a difference?
That's the name of the Chicken Soup series.
Okay.
It's called that, yep.
The Preservation Foundation. BeliefNet.com. Mm-hmm. Your story of your dad, by the way, it's filled with evidence of God. I love it. You were named one of the 10 Latina authors to watch and read.
Yes, by the Latina Book Club in New York.
And does that mean your book is also in Spanish?
No. I would love that someday.
Someday, okay. But you could do it yourself, right? You wouldn't have to farm it out, or no?
No,
oh, really?
Not quite that accomplished. I would think it would take such a tremendous level of study to be able to translate a book. One of my favorite authors is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and I can't imagine translating his work. It's a lot of work. I would love, however, to see it translated.
So English is your first language?
Yes.
Okay. And you are a physical therapist, it says here, too.
Yep.
So the book is called Luck is Just the Beginning. It says it's a novel, so I have to ask you about that first. This is about your dad winning the lottery in 1944. What was it, 14,000, was it dollars?
$18,000, yep.
18,000.
Puerto Rico was under U.S. rule. It wasn't quite a commonwealth then, but they did go by the dollar for their currency. However, people at the time called it pesos, so he won $18,000 in 1944.
But it was the equivalent of?
Yeah, $18,000, and people called it pesos.
But in today's money, what would that be worth?
I guess today's money, my husband's an accountant. I think he actually figured it for me. Probably $500,000 in today's economy.
Okay. I wanted to put that into perspective so people know.
And you've got to remember, this is when people in Puerto Rico mainly worked the cane fields, so they made pennies to dimes a day working in the sugar cane fields. Wow. In fact, a lovely scene in the book, my dad delivered pastries to the macheteros, the workers in the cane fields, and he sold them for a penny apiece. So that's the kind of money people made back then. Yeah. So $18,000 was a fortune.
So the God moment. Your dad was shooting baskets, shooting hoops.
Had a vision.
Tell us that story.
Yeah, he had a vision, and he decided, I think I need to play this number in the lottery.
But the vision was numbers in the sky?
Yes, and he had never played the lottery before. He had been saving his money to be a dentist.
Yeah.
So he just felt very strongly he had to do that. And then things, of course, that brought him luck in the thousands, literally.
Did it, was it a story your dad shared with you guys?
Oh, yes, of course.
All the time, okay. Because it wasn't like the blessing everybody thinks money is going to be. It was, but it wasn't. It had like a double thing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and if you think about it, I remember watching an HBO documentary some years ago when I started this book called The Lottery, and it talked about how people's lives don't always change for the best when they win the lottery. It was really fascinating.
Yeah.
So, of course, he did the right thing with his money. But it was a little bit of a hardship, a little bit of struggle when you go from almost nothing to something. You can imagine not everyone is really happy.
So that was
they probably his friends, and he might have lost friends over that.
Yeah, so you'll read all about that. It is a novel based on a true story, so it's somewhat embellished.
let me ask you about that. When you embellish things, does it mean there were parts you just didn't know the answers to, so you just kind of filled in the blanks?
Yes, and the fun part of the book was writing about the history. I did a lot of research on World War II and what Puerto Ricans were doing and what the rest of the country was doing at that time. It's obviously before my time. But that was the fun part, was writing how history kind of influenced people at the time. So I could embellish a little and fictionalize a little bit what people were doing and saying and conversations they had surrounding important events.
I look at it like a mosaic that lost some of its tiles, like you found an old mosaic. And you just said, I think a red one goes here. I think it makes sense that a red one goes here and a blue one goes here, and it just completes the picture, right?
That's a really good analogy, yeah.
So your dad's shooting baskets, and he gets the numbers for the lottery, and he plays them, wins the $18,000, and changes his life how? What was the immediate change?
Well, I guess the immediate change was, what's he going to do with all this money?
Because he was smart, wasn't he? I mean, he didn't have these delusions. He wanted to be a dentist.
Oh, yeah, since he was 7 or 8. An old man lived in the village, and that part was one of my favorite scenes to write. It's quite tender, how this old man helped him and helped many people. And he wanted to carry on what this old man was doing for others. However, there was no dental college in Puerto Rico at that time and very few dentists. So we did need more money to travel to the mainland U.S. to attend school. No one in his family had a completed college.
Well, you have beautiful teeth, so something must have happened. Did your dad have a tooth issue when he was younger? Is that what I can't remember?
He did, and this old man, everyone called humanitario, kind of saved him. So he was very inspired to do the same. He thought it was like magic. So that was his dream.
That is magic when you get that pain out of your tooth. Yeah.
And now he wanted that money. He said, "Oh my goodness, now I can really set forward on my dream." So that was the immediate thing. Secondary thing was he was young. He spent a little bit of money foolishly, being a young 19-year-old man. But I guess the immediate thing was, okay, I got to make sure that I do the right thing, and this money doesn't change me.
Well, good for him. Yeah. But it did. He said he didn't want it to, but it did. And did his religious convictions, were they strong? I mean, and did that influence you at all?
He was, and my grandmother was very religious. Her birthday is December 24th. And that's kind of interesting.
Christmas Eve,
because
baby, yeah.
she went to Mass every day. She had a lot of
Really?
faith.
Every day?
And, you can really see that in the book. You can see her faith and belief coming through. The probably iconic place in their town was the little Catholic church that was right there in the plaza in the center of town. So
have you been there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I went there as a child for my grandmother's birthday. We went every Christmas. And I went there almost 10 years ago, maybe a little less than 10 years ago as an adult. And that was a nice trip to go back after not having been there in several years.
Did he help his siblings out?
He did. He gave them some money to help them, in their businesses and their lives. And he helped them in other ways, too. And if you read the book, you'll see how there was a little bit of a tumult between him and a brother, but they eventually become even closer through what happened after he won that money.
You have to have that conflict, though.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And
There's a lot of
is-
conflict.
Yeah.
Celeste Leon is our guest. We are talking about the book, Luck is Just the Beginning. She is going to stay with us through the break, and she'll also be at the book signings today and tomorrow at the Barnes & Noble at Heathbrook, and also tomorrow in the Villages. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Clouds and some sun on Friday with a couple of showers and thunderstorms. Any thunderstorm can be strong in the afternoon with torrential downpours, large hail, and damaging wind gusts. The high today 77 to 81. Friday night will be mostly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm early, though 63 at the interior, 69 at the coast. Saturday, variable cloudiness with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, highs in the upper 70s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
This Mother's Day, join us for Pokin' for the Pee-wees. Saturday, May 7th, 11 to 2. Food, prizes, petting zoo, pictures with Disney princesses and superheroes, bounce houses, games, live music, and more. See you at Beautiful Moments Party Rental just south of the airport on 60th Avenue. Limited vendor space available. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, with A Better You Healthcare at 352-615-5566. 615-5566.
Yeah, I'm that drip coming down from the corner of the room. But where did I come from? I'll never tell.
Bone Dry Roofing can and will fix it right the first time using quality materials and will deal honestly and fairly with you, period. You can find Bone Dry Roofing on their website, bonedryroofingllc.com, and Facebook at Bone Dry Roofing LLC. Do it right before your roof needs a tarp to keep the elements out. Bone Dry Roofing stands behind their work to help make your home safe and secure, plus they have financing available. Remember, if you're not bone dry, then you're all wet.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
You never know what a fan or collector is dying to have, so it's worth posting something just to see what happens. Anything you get is pure profits. Or if you want to get in better shape, just walk the stairs. Before you know it, you'll be walking a mile or more every day. Why is it that we close our eyes when we kiss? It's not just because it's creepy not to. It's because when we close off one sense, it awakens the others.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Plans for lunch Sunday?
Moms and dads, have a quality time lunch date with your little one.
Honey Baked Ham and Cafe is going to help.
Each Sunday through Mother's Day, bring your child under 10 to Honey Baked Ham at 2709 Southwest 27th Avenue in Ocala between Best Buy and Regal Cinema.
Your child's meal is free with paying adults. Eat it only.
Honey Baked Ham and Cafe serves only the highest quality food and provides a clean, quiet environment so you can enjoy your time together.
For more information, call 861-0011.
WWOCA, WWWWWOCA.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Hi, I'm Fran Darkington. When I need news, I pass the rest and tune to the source. WOCA.
All right, 18 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Celeste Leon is in the studio with us. Her book is called Luck is Just the Beginning. It is just such a touching story, and I really do love the way you write, Celeste. And Celeste will be at a book signing in just a couple of hours. Let's see, it's 11:18 right now, so she's going to be at the Barnes & Noble at the Market Street at Heathbrook at 2 o'clock. Go and see Celeste and meet her. She's lovely. Her book, you're going to fall in love with the way she writes. How many other books have you written?
No books, short stories, though.
I thought you wrote another book. I thought I saw somewhere. No?
It took me 10 years to finish this one. I went through lots of versions.
How has your family responded to the book?
Oh, everyone loves it.
Loves it?
My parents love it, of course. My sisters are learning things they quite didn't know. Because if you think about your
Are you older than
childhood,
them?
I'm the youngest of
You're
three.
the youngest.
And think about it. When you go on a family trip, if you guys have siblings, everyone has slightly different memories of things. And
Yeah.
that's why
Right,
writing
yes.
a memoir is tricky, because everyone, you ask your parents, your siblings, what happened when we went to such and such a place? Everyone's recollections are a little different. So that's another reason why I turned it into fiction. I could embellish a little bit, and I didn't have to worry if I didn't get every detail right, because it's a novel based on a true story. It's very close to the truth, especially the premise of the story.
Well,
So my
I
sisters
don't know.
love it.
I think you're going to have a lot of fans, and I think you're going. The publisher is probably going to want another book. Have you had that come to you yet? Has any movie maker come to you?
Oh, I think I want to send the book to Jennifer Lopez. I just watched her in El Cantante, the story about Hector Lavoe. And she talked about how when she was young, she wasn't so interested in her roots. And she's Puerto Rican. And becoming a young woman and doing the story of Hector Lavoe, the famous salsa singer, brought her so much closer to her roots. And I feel the same way. So I quite feel a kinship with her, and you never know. Maybe I'll hear from Jennifer Lopez.
I want to go. Do you need a passport for Puerto Rico?
No. It's a Commonwealth of the U.S.
I didn't know if...
It could seem like another place. I always thought it was quite exotic as a child. So
oh, really?
I loved it, of course.
The feeling we get from the book is that, well, first of all, you get to know your dad, or at least you feel like you get to know your dad, and I don't know, there couldn't be a sequel, I guess, but it just seems like a character you would want to get to know. But there are other characters in the book, too. I was asking you during the break about Leonardo, who was a baseball player, and he had gotten into some kind of trouble, and your dad was sitting with him, talking to him. Just tell us that story a little bit.
Leonardo is a little boy who is kind of the... there's a man in the next village based on a true person, a little bit embellished or fictionalized. There's another man who played that same number for many, many years in the lotto, many years, and he was a powerful man and one of the few rich people. And believe it or not, this part of the story is true. My dad played his number on that one day and won. So this other man kind of went off on the deep end, because he lost.
Yeah.
My dad won. Imagine that. The punk, quote unquote, in the next village.
Right.
And Leo is this man's son, and it's about the relationship they have and what happens to Leo with a father that kind of becomes a little bit off the cuff, unhinged, I guess is a good word. So he has a lovely relationship with my dad. My dad has a mentor in the book, the dentist, and my dad becomes the mentor for this young, wonderful character named Leo.
You decided to become a physical therapist. Was that in part because of your dad's work?
I don't know. Interestingly enough, I always liked fitness and exercise and science, and I decided that almost 30 years ago. That's super hard to believe. But I found I like taking care of people, and I like stories. So being a therapist and a storyteller are quite complementary. In fact, a patient told me just last week before I came here, I love coming in and you helped me so much, but I loved the stories we share.
Oh, is that right?
I hear people's stories
you're a storyteller.
Day long, and I have a lot of the same patients year after year. I don't know if that's good or bad. Do they come back because they really feel well cared for, or they come back because they're not getting better? Maybe a little bit of both, but I think it's a good thing. And I know a lot about people. Sometimes I treat whole families and get to know the whole family, and it's become it's become quite different over the years.
Talk about Elsie.
Elsie.
Yes.
Elsie is Ramon's love interest. And yes, she's based on a real person, and she's the daughter of an important man in town, the police chief. And I really like their relationship. But as you know, they're young. It's each other's first love, and it is a little bit tumultuous. So I don't want to give too much of the plot away.
No, you don't want to give too much away. But okay, when your dad read that part of the book, did he comment on that?
Not so much.
No?
No.
No? Okay. Mm-hmm. So your dad speaks Spanish as a first language?
Yes, of course,
I'm assuming.
yes.
Okay. Does he speak English at all?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he came here when he was 19.
Okay.
And I wish I spoke more Spanish. I'm pretty good. I serve a lot of the Latino community at work. We have lots of Mexicans in my town, and I serve the Mexican Americans. They're my patients, so my Spanish in medicine is quite good. But I wish I were more fluent. I really do. And my dad spoke to my sisters and I when we were little, and we'd say, no. So I'm pretty good, but it could always be better. Maybe I need to move to a Spanish-speaking country and really become
and your
proficient.
Mom? Tell me about your mom.
She does not speak Spanish, no.
No, not at all. And maybe that's why you don't.
Yeah. Right. And think about it. I don't know. I'm 50, so 50 years ago, 40 years ago, I don't think families were that into preserving their culture. I think they wanted to be more accepted by the community, where now people are a little bit more prideful of culture. And my dad did come alone. He didn't come with the community. Many people come in groups now, and they preserve their language. So it was a different time when I was a kid.
Has your daughter read the book?
She hasn't. She's read parts of it, and she has helped me tremendously. She designed my beautiful bookmarks, my business cards. She's very savvy.
And the book cover?
She helped me with the book cover. Interestingly enough, that's not the book cover the publisher came up with. It's nice to go with a small publisher because they allowed me to have complete control of this project with the editing and with the book cover. They had a wonderful picture of my dad as the original book cover with a Puerto Rican and American flag. And I kind of liked the blending of cultures that the flags represented. But someone said to me, it looks like a political book, and it's not. So those are actual real photos. And that's an old-fashioned frame. The pennies on the cover of the book are actually pennies from 1944. They're wheat pennies. A friend loaned me.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
The lotto tickets I purchased from eBay. They're not from the 40s. They're from the 70s. But we covered the dates with the pennies, and we morphed the number to be the winning number. And the hanky is with an R, Ramon. But it's from my friend's Aunt Ruth, and those photos are real, of course. And even the pocket watch is my maternal grandfather's pocket watch.
Oh, my gosh. Isn't that something?
So it's a really nice personal cover. Everything's really from the story.
Maybe this is probably a stupid point, but you referred to the lottery number as in a singular, not as numbers.
Yeah, people, I guess, it was a 5-digit number.
Is that how they did the lottery?
Yeah.
Just like one big number?
Yeah.
So it was what, 8? Was it 14,000?
Yeah.
Was it a very whole number? I can't remember.
It's a long number, and the cool thing was back then, and I don't know if it's still the case now, but you could buy one little piece of a ticket for 20 cents, or you could buy the whole sheet. So people would share that number unless someone, like my dad, on that day bought the whole sheet of tickets. So he bought it when that man didn't buy it, and he won the grand prize. If he had only bought a portion, as many people did, because they had very little money, he would have had to share the money.
I mean,
I think it was more than luck.
That's what I think.
It was luck.
I think.
That's why it's just the beginning. It was luck, but I don't know.
But there's got to be a part of you. There's a part of me in reading the story that says, okay, God wanted this guy, Ramon, to be a dentist.
Yes.
That was a very necessary thing, and it wasn't going to happen unless there was some money. And this was just God's way of saying, here's some money.
And we don't have a crystal ball, but if we did, maybe he would have been a dentist if he didn't win the money. We'll never know that because that really happened.
That's true.
But it certainly was, I think, more than luck. Yeah, it was an amazing
Have you
start.
ever had any visions like that at all?
Actually, I had something kind of odd happen in Disneyland. I thought of a friend, and I was a little concerned that something happened to her, and her image came to me in the middle of the park and in a happy place, and I thought, no, it's not her, it's her husband that something happened to, and he did have a heart attack. So it was kind of a weird premonition.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And you could say it's coincidence because
you don't feel like it was coincidence.
He was probably 80 at the time, and he did pass away. But I thought of him, and I just had a feeling something would happen. And so that wasn't such a good premonition, but I have other little things. I think of someone. I think everyone has this. I think of someone and they call, or I think of someone and I run into them. I think that happens to everyone. It probably happens to me maybe a little more than the average person, other than that one feeling I had about this man.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You are going to be in just a few 2 hours from now, right? 2 hours from now, you're going to be, let's say at 2 o'clock, so 2.5 hours, you're going to be at the Barnes & Noble here in Ocala at Market Street at Heathbrook. For the listeners, you will meet a delightful lady and get a copy of the book. Luck is just the beginning. Get it signed. Celeste Leon, you gave us a book. Can I give this one away right now?
Yes, please do.
And you'll sign it for the caller? Call me right now, 622-9622, and you'll have the first one. This is the one that was given to us, so we could talk to Celeste with a little bit of knowledge. And if you put on your headset, Celeste, you'll be able to hear the caller. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
I am so so excited. This is Linnell.
Linnell. Okay, Linnell. Spell your name so that Celeste can sign it to you.
Lynnelle.
Oh, what a pretty name.
Okay, Linnell. The book will be waiting for you here.
And where will she be tomorrow in the Villages?
At the Barnes & Noble on Old Camp Road.
In Lake Sumter Landing.
Yeah, Lake Sumter Landing, sorry.
And at what time tomorrow?
That's 11 to 1.
Okay, thank you. I can do that.
Okay,
Thank you. And I'll come pick up the book. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Are we going to see you tomorrow then, Linnell?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Excellent.
It sounds like it. Or maybe even today, but I don't know. So
Okay.
let's see. Thank you.
Thank you, Linnell. And
Thank you.
Celeste, Leon, what a joy you are. Thank you for coming in here.
Yeah,
And,
it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I think you're going to have to just write more because you're going to have a lot of people wanting more.
Well, that's what most people say. They said, why did you end it where you ended? I want to know more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a good thing, I think, for an author to hear.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So it's been nice feedback.
I think you've become something you didn't know you were going to become.
Yeah, it's been a dream come true. It's very exciting.
Is that right? Oh, you wanted to do this?
Oh, yeah. And the best part is the people who call me or send me emails and tell me how much it helped them. It helped them feel good. One lady lost her father recently, a Puerto Rican dad, and she said, it brought me closer to my own dad reading about your experience, and she wanted me to know how much it helped her. She bought a book for herself as a Christmas present. She came to my book signing in my hometown, and another lady said her mother read the book. She translated it for her mom. Maybe I should get her to translate it. And she said, my mom, who's an 80-year-old Puerto Rican lady, felt like she was home again.
Oh,
but other
sweet.
people, too, a friend, it's not just Puerto Ricans and Latinos. A friend said, when I read about Doña Chepa, who's my grandmother, the healer, the curandera, and that's maybe where my PT background comes into, she said, when I read about Doña Chepa, I wanted to be a better person and a better mother. So that's
you almost cried just then, didn't you?
Yes, I get really emotional, and that's really why I read the book
That's beautiful.
to affect a change.
Good luck, Celeste.
Thank you.
What an honor to be able to say we met you.
Yeah.
If luck is just the beginning, don't call anybody. Go to Barnes & Noble today, right now, over at the Market Street at Heathbrook. And if you can't get there today, in the Lake Sumter Landing portion of the Villages tomorrow, the Barnes & Noble over there from 11 till 1. The address for the one in the Villages is 1055 Old Camp Road. And I guess you know where the Market Street at Heathbrook is, right? Everybody knows that one. If you don't, call us. We'll be glad to give you directions and everything. That was very good. Thank you so much. And thank your husband and daughter for coming, even though they didn't come in here.
Coming all this way. Thank you.
Celeste Leon, nice to meet you. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your mobile Verizon rep. But not just here, I'll deliver the phone to you in your home. While I'm there, I'll only sell you what you need and I'll personalize it to you. Want to have me